Welcome to my ecosystem exploration. I have designed this Minecraft world with 3 different ecosystem areas, all numbered with blocks, like you see here to the left with the 1, there'd be a 2 and a 3. The goal for the students is to use their observation skills to gather evidence, to then be able to make predictions about the type of ecosystem, the animals that would live in the ecosystem, and then also make a prediction about a scenario that has been planted within each of the ecosystems. So my goal in assessing the students is in 2 folds. One, I want them to gather and collect evidence that will support their claim or their prediction. So being able to root it in fact instead of just opinion. And then second, I want them to also be fleshing out the idea of predicting what is going to happen within ecosystems when changes by organisms or changes in the weather and weather patterns happen to the ecosystem. So when you walk up, you'd go ahead and open up the information block. It explains that there are 3 ecosystems with 3 information blocks. 2 are going to be a reminder of making predictions about what type of ecosystem they are exploring, as well as the type of animals. And then the 3rd is actually going to be giving them a scenario that they need to make a prediction of the outcome on an index card. And then kind of making it more fun and interactive instead of just looking around, they would then get to collect a token from each of the ecosystems that are housed in a treasure chest. So let's go ahead and walk in. As you'll notice, there is a pathway, and I also put border blocks so that they wouldn't get lost and roam around. So this ecosystem has a river of flowing water, and I take my path and I walk in, and it looks like there's lots of trees that are exceptionally tall, so it means there's a very high canopy. There looks to be some flowers but not a very diverse ground covering. And I look in and there is an information block here to my left, to my right, and then up a level on my left. And so let's walk in. So I'm taking you here because this is where I planted the treasure chest, which would mean that this information block has the scenario in it that I would want my students answering. I would be using this piece as my main assessment because it's going to be them integrating the evidence that they've gathered based on their observations, as well as them being able to make a long-term prediction about what's going to happen. So you can go ahead and read through this. It says that a logger has bought this piece of land. What's going to happen when these trees that go super, super high up in large organisms are removed? So let's keep moving. And so you can see by the 2 that you're now in the second area, instead of a nice river, we have a pond. We have trees, but the growth is not quite as tall. There's also a diversity in the organisms that are living here. I have grass, I have flowers, and it looks like different types of trees. So let's walk up to see what the scenario is here, because I can tell with the treasure chest there that this is the scenario block. So I go ahead and take a read at this. What I would be looking for in my students' learning would be that they are pointing out the diversity in the trees. They are looking at the ecosystem and the organisms that are within it to base their predictions of what's going to happen. So with all this diversity of trees, it's going to need a lot of water. So a drought would definitely limit the variety and the fullness of this ecosystem. So let's go ahead and walk to the 3rd. And the 3rd is a complete dry area. It's very barren. It looks like there are cactuses here. I can tell because they're spikes. These are the types of things that I would be looking for to show that they are learning by their observations. So let's go here to where the treasure chest is. And they would then open and read the scenario. So tropical storm has brought a lot of water. They write down on their index card, and then here they get to open the treasure chest because they have finished, and they would get to take the bone as their token and place it here into their inventory. So I would be able to see that they would answer all 3 with 3 different pieces of tokens in their inventory list. And I would see growth in their learning by pointing out specifics related to the world. Future assessments, I would want my students maybe creating their own ecosystem based on a plant or an animal that they've been given.